But if I go out on the countryside and talk to groups that are just generally interested in politics, but not in detail, they very much know about the National Defense Authorization Act. They don't like the Patriot Act, and they don't like these endless wars. So we're winning these arguments, let me tell you. There has, and we cannot, in this area, for the spread of this information, we can't thank the major networks. They have not helped us. But the one weapon we have has been the internet, and you know how to use it. SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act, has been taken off the calendar in the House, and SIPA was removed from the calendar in the Senate. So the efforts work, which proves that when the people rise up and say that we want our liberties back and we want to restrain the government, we want to enforce the Constitution, politicians will respond out of their own self-interest, because they know if they don't, they will be removed from office. In this regard, we can say that as many complaints as I make and others make about the direction, we can be very grateful that we still have the maximum amount of freedom to participate in elections, to speak out, and with this tool called the internet, change people's minds. Last year, we made a lot of effort, to do something about the Fed, to get the Fed audited. And we never got a full audit of the Fed. We got some information out, but we actually passed it in the House of Representatives, which was a major undertaking when you think 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, nobody was even talking about it or knowing anything about it. Because of your efforts and your understanding and pressuring the members of Congress, they did respond. Which means that government is a reflection of the people. We have been too lackadaisical. And that is our job, to get off our couches and, and do the things necessary to send that message. And that is what we are doing. Now, if we really want this message sent loud and clear, we're going to maximize our efforts tomorrow. Everybody voting and continuing the phone calls and maximizing the turnout. So far, the efforts have been fantastic. The efforts have paid off in Iowa, and then New Hampshire did very well. It's a tough road to hoe here in this state, but believe me, the message will be there, and we will continue this struggle, and we are winning the battle, but we have to stay in the battle and do our very maximum effort in this regard. But there's reason to believe, actually, that we are moving the country in our direction. We should be very grateful, because the last thing we want to do is sit back, because if we sit back, the status quo politicians, Republicans and Democrats, are going to continue to do this, because as of now, we do not have people in Washington that have the biggest idea how serious this debt problem is, this spending problem, how important the Federal Reserve is, and how important it is to change our foreign policy and bring our troops home and stop fighting these wars. So, I stopped by to say thank you. Thank you! And I thank you for your encouragement, and I thank you for allowing me to join your revolution to free this country. Thank you very much.
people are listening to Dr. Paul and they're having to take a stand. Well, if you like him, why aren't you voting for him? Things like that. They're being pushed to the brim now and being held accountable for what they stand for and the solutions that Dr. Paul proposes.
My name is Eric Stackley. This is my wife Maggie, and we are here to support Dr. Paul. I've been supporting for about 6 years, long time, kind of in the running. The reason we came tonight was to make sure we supported the only candidate out of all the candidates running that want to fix our monetary issue. That is the single most important issue in this election, is the value of our money. If our money does not have value, none of this means anything. Because if we do not have the ability to buy anything, then none of it matters. We have to have a gold-backed dollar, as Dr. Paul has advocated. We have to have money that has value. Paper money means nothing. That's what I'm here for. I'm against the wars, the entangling alliances that we have with all these countries. $40 billion to Pakistan doesn't cut it.
It sounds like you both are really fired up. How did Ron Paul's delivery of his speech tonight make you feel?
When I got the email yesterday at 4 o'clock, I was absolutely excited that he was coming to my hometown state. I was born here, raised here, grandfather served in the military, served the country, defended the country. That's where we need to be. I'm about a strong national defense, not a military spending that supports companies like Halliburton, which take money away from taxpayers to blow up bridges in Iraq and rebuild them. I'm not about that. I'm about defending this country, and that's where we need to focus our money and spending, and that's what this campaign's about.
Any last thoughts?
And we're so happy to be here and so happy that his campaign has grown so much. You know, I remember our first rally we went to in Greenville about 6 years ago. It was absolutely awesome. There was probably 500 people there. We were so surprised that anybody would possibly feel the way that we do. So it was great to find people we feel the same way, especially like the band over there.
Sounds like they're chanting Ron Paul. Hey, appreciate it very much.
Oh yeah.
But Ron Paul knows what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Please, when you go check out the voting, vote for a candidate that means what he says instead of worries about money. I just don't know what else to say. I mean, politicians are politicians, but Ron Paul is a human being, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah!
Woo!